Hi there, I'm Bianca, and I'm 30 years old. Although some time has passed since the incident I want to share, I feel compelled to talk about it while the memories are still vivid. Let's start from the beginning. First, let me introduce my husband, Matt. Matt and I first crossed paths in high school. I was quite shy and overwhelmed with anxiety, making it hard for me to form friendships. Yet, for reasons only known to the universe, Matt took an interest in me. We were assigned as partners in chemistry class, and that's where our conversations began. It took me some time to open up, but once I did, he asked me out on a date. It's important to note that Matt was one of the most handsome guys at school, athletic and intelligent. Even though I was a nervous wreck, I wasn't completely unaware of my feelings. I agreed to go out with him, and that initial date led to many more. The more time I spent with him, the more at ease I felt. For the first time, I could truly express myself around someone. Matt was kind and empathetic, never pushing me beyond my comfort zone. I felt incredibly lucky to have him. Now, let me tell you about my mother-in-law, Olivia. She has endured her share of hardships. Her husband, Matt's father, passed away when the boys were young, and she raised them single-handedly. I've always admired her strength, but her overprotectiveness, particularly towards Matt, became a significant issue. The first time I met Olivia, she reprimanded me, and her overbearing nature only grew more intense over time. It felt like she had a personal vendetta against me, always seizing the chance to belittle me. At first, I brushed it off, but when Olivia made a snide remark about my appearance during dinner one night, I decided to address it with Matt. After I expressed my feelings, Matt confronted his mother. He told her that her comments were unacceptable and stood up for me. Olivia attempted to pass it off as humor, but Matt insisted she apologize. Even though I knew her apology wasn't genuine, it was empowering to see Matt defend me. I appreciated that he was on my side. Despite Olivia's continued behavior over the years, it was comforting to know that Matt would always support me. The next person I want to mention is Trent, Matt's younger brother. Trent was the only other family member who made an effort to engage with me. He showed genuine interest in getting to know me, which helped me feel more comfortable within the family dynamic. We had many common interests and got along quite well. Matt was genuinely pleased that I had formed a connection with at least one family member. For a long time, I believed I had found a true friend in Trent, but as my story unfolds, you'll see how mistaken I was. Lastly, let me introduce Rachel, Trent's wife and my sister-in-law. Rachel was the type of person who would go to great lengths to please others, regardless of the situation. When she met Olivia, they hit it off, and Rachel quickly aligned with Olivia's negative views about me. Before long, Rachel became Olivia's ally in their campaign against me, which was really painful. I mean, Rachel didn't even take the time to get to know me, yet she chose to dislike me solely because Olivia did. Eventually, I learned to let it go. Returning to my relationship with Matt, we made the decision to marry when we were both financially secure, which took about 3 years after graduating college. Once we secured stable jobs and purchased our own home, we felt ready to tie the knot. Of course, Olivia was not pleased with our plans. She attempted to undermine our relationship in various ways during our engagement. For instance, she tried to persuade Matt that he was settling for me, claiming he hadn't dated anyone else. She even attempted to set him up with other women, which he strongly rejected. That was particularly hurtful. I understood she disliked me, but to actively encourage her son to betray me? That was deeply troubling. At our wedding, Olivia created yet another scene, disrupting the joyous atmosphere. When it was her turn to give a toast, she began by expressing her disapproval of Matt marrying me and sincerely wished that he would reconsider his choice. I was in tears, naturally, but Matt was furious. He had her escorted out, and he stayed by my side for the remainder of the night. This incident led to a significant rift between us and Olivia, resulting in 2 years of minimal contact. We only saw her during holidays, and we made an effort to avoid her. The only exception was at Trent's wedding. We were genuinely happy for him and wanted to celebrate his special day. However, Olivia managed to corner us and asked to speak. Matt was reluctant to engage, but I suggested we hear her out. We didn't have to accept her words, after all. "Look, I just want to apologize for everything I said at your wedding," she began. "If you were truly sorry, you would have come over to our house and apologized. You had 2 years to do so, yet you never did," I replied. I felt ashamed. I shouldn't have acted that way on my son's big day. I should have understood that if he was happy, I should be happy too. I guess I just didn't have the courage to face you. But we did reach out during the holidays and on your birthday. Even if you couldn't apologize in person, you could have called. It was very difficult for me, I said. Okay, I'm owning up to my mistake. I'm sorry. I'm still upset with you, and if Bianca doesn't forgive you, we'll revert to how things have been for the past 2 years. I appreciated that Matt valued my opinion in this situation. Unfortunately, I have always been big on keeping family ties, so I told her I forgave her. I didn't want Matt to be estranged from his only parent. Olivia appeared genuinely grateful, and for a time, she treated me kindly. However, about a year later, her old behavior resurfaced, this time with Rachel joining in. They began to ridicule me constantly, mocking my words and actions. It didn't matter. They always found a way to belittle me. I did my best to let it slide and kept Matt calm throughout it all. I understood that if we said or did anything, it would ultimately lead to severing ties with Olivia, which was the last thing I wanted for us. However, one weekend, our plans were abruptly disrupted by Olivia, Rachel, and Trent. Matt and I had intended to enjoy a relaxing weekend, sleeping in and binge-watching some shows, but those plans vanished the moment we heard loud knocks on the front door. Groggily, I shuffled to the door, and as soon as I opened it, Olivia and Rachel barged in, with Trent trailing behind, each of them carrying a heavy-looking box. Matt joined me in the living room, clearly just as bewildered as I was. "What's happening? What do you have there?" he asked. "This is proof," Olivia declared. "Proof of what?" I questioned, my heart racing. "Proof that you're having an affair." "Excuse me, what leads you to believe I'm unfaithful?" "I've always sensed something off about you, and I wasn't alone in that feeling. At every family gathering, you suddenly had work commitments. A few times is understandable, but every single time? That raises suspicions." "It's not suspicious. I'm a nurse. You all just happen to be around when I get called in, but I have shifts at other times too." "Wow, you're so bold to lie to our faces while we have proof." "Matt, I promise I've never cheated on you. Whatever they claim to have is not true." "Relax, Matt. I doubt she would ever betray me. I'm just curious about what Mom and Rachel found." "Believe me, your perspective on your wife will shift once you see what we have." "How did you even gather this evidence?" "Rachel and I hired a private investigator who followed Bianca for the past 6 months. We just picked up the evidence from the investigator's office and came here right away." "That's seriously invasive. What's wrong with you two? You have no right to accuse her, you cheating scumbag." "Enough, let Bianca look at the evidence." I was seething with anger. What had I done to deserve this? I had always been careful to avoid conflict with them, yet they were trying to drive a wedge between Matt and me, hiring a private investigator to stalk me for 6 months. That was beyond disturbing. Who would go to such lengths just to get rid of someone they didn't like? My curiosity about the so-called evidence grew. Matt met my gaze, and for a fleeting moment, we shared an unspoken assurance that everything would be all right. He knew I could never betray him. My crippling social anxiety made it difficult for me to connect with anyone, let alone cheat. He understood how much effort it took for me to even speak to him. The thought of getting involved with a stranger was unimaginable. While my job as an oncology nurse was helping me manage my anxiety, I still needed time to decompress after work, which Matt had supported from the beginning of our relationship. I had always feared I'd end up alone, so when I met the perfect guy, why would I jeopardize that? We opened one of the boxes to find a large collection of photos accompanied by notes from the investigator. However, none of the images showed clear faces. There was a woman who looked eerily similar to me, and for a moment, panic surged through me. I glanced at Matt, who looked just as pale as I felt. I began frantically scanning the photos for any indication that it wasn't me. Olivia and Rachel snickered behind me. I was on the verge of breaking down in tears when I spotted one photo featuring a tattoo on the girl's right arm. I didn't have any tattoos. I quickly showed the picture to Matt, and his expression shifted from fear to confusion. We seemed to communicate silently. I knew we needed to uncover who these images belonged to. We rummaged through the other two boxes and continued examining the photos and notes. Then I stumbled upon a note where the investigator referenced a specific car license plate that looked extremely familiar. Unsure where I recognized it from, I showed it to Matt. He glanced at it and erupted into laughter. Everyone turned to him, puzzled. Matt leaned in and whispered to me the name associated with that car. Shock washed over me, and I couldn't help but burst into laughter too. Olivia, Rachel, and Trent were left bewildered, waiting for an explanation that never came as Matt and I continued to giggle, diving deeper into the pictures. "What's so funny?" Why are you laughing at evidence of Bianca cheating? Olivia finally asked. Yeah, are you two okay with a third party? Rachel added. Oh no, not at all. We just discovered something truly hilarious. How is cheating funny? Oh, it's not me in those pictures, I replied confidently. Yes, it is. We've seen a bunch of photos, and it's definitely you. Look at this one. See the tattoo on the girl's arm? Bianca doesn't have any tattoos, Matt interjected. What if it was a temporary one she used to avoid recognition? I can't stand having tattoos. I've never even worn a temporary tattoo. Okay, well, we made a mistake then. What's funny about that? The amusing part is the identity of the man in those pictures. The man? You can hardly see who that is. How do you know who he is? Because of the investigator's notes. Look at that license plate. Do the numbers ring a bell? Rachel grabbed the paper from me, and Olivia and Trent crowded around her to read. I watched their expressions shift dramatically. Olivia's eyes widened in shock, Rachel went pale, and Trent began to sweat profusely. The license plate belonged to Trent's car, and as we scrutinized the pictures further, it became increasingly clear that the man was Trent himself. Matt silently passed around the images where Trent's face was nearly identifiable, hidden only by a mask or sunglasses he had worn to conceal his identity. I couldn't understand why Trent had chosen to betray Rachel, but I must confess, it felt somewhat satisfying to witness Rachel's world collapse in the same way she had wished for mine to do. I was intrigued to know the reasons behind Trent's infidelity, yet I opted to let Olivia and Rachel ignite the drama. I took a step back and stood beside Matt, both of us struggling not to burst into laughter. Trent, what's going on? Are you cheating on me? Just hear me out. I can explain. Are you serious? This isn't how I raised you. I'm sorry, but I never truly loved Rachel. What? Are you kidding? Sadly, yes. Why? What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong, Rachel. I was just infatuated with someone else from the very beginning. Who? Bianca. Excuse me? What is wrong with you? You were in love with Bianca? You picked that ugly witch over me? Since when? I've had feelings for her ever since Matt introduced her. She was stunning and had such a calm demeanor. I don't know. I was drawn to that. Plus, when she became comfortable with me, I discovered we shared many interests. Oh God, I'm going to be sick. So you found someone who looked just like Bianca? I knew you were trying to sabotage their marriage. I thought I could hasten the process, and if they divorced, I could swoop in and claim her. First off, she isn't some prize you can win. Secondly, get the hell out of my house. You're sick and deranged. Beyond help. I hope you rot. Never come back. And never speak to me or Bianca again. And as for you two, Mom and Rachel, I want you gone as well. But we didn't do anything. You did enough. I played along with your little game, but I'm done. It's utterly disgusting that you hired someone to tail my wife in an effort to break up my marriage. I want nothing to do with any of you. Leave. I can't express how nauseous I felt. That was the last thing I anticipated. I remember Matt holding me until my breathing steadied. I was revolted by Trent's perception of me. I had only begun to feel comfortable around him because he was the only one in Matt's family who genuinely made an effort to know me. Learning that he had done so with ulterior motives was beyond repugnant. Matt was equally disturbed. He was seething. He couldn't believe his brother was capable of such creepiness. He assured me he would support any decision I made regarding the aftermath of this situation. I definitely wanted to cut ties with all of them, especially Trent. I never wanted to see him again. Naturally, about a month after everything unfolded, Trent attempted to contact me. He actually tried to persuade me to lead his brother on. I discovered he had sent those messages after his divorce. Having lost everything to Rachel, I blocked him immediately, but looking back, I can't believe he had the audacity to even try. I had to return to therapy for a while after that incident. I needed a space to express my feelings, and since it involved his brother, Matt would get too agitated. He also attended therapy to work through his emotions. It's been roughly a year since all that transpired. Matt and I have moved on and are now living fulfilling and joyful lives. We haven't heard from Olivia or Rachel since then. If nothing else, I hope they learned the hard way not to interfere in others' lives. Back then, I was a wreck after discovering how Trent viewed me, but now I can laugh at the whole situation. I'm grateful I emerged stronger from it, and I'm even more thankful that Matt and I's relationship has grown deeper. It's essential to treat everyone in your life with kindness. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again in the next video. Stay stunned.